Minister in the presidency, Mondli Gungubele, might find himself on the wrong side of the Standing Committee on Public Accounts, that's Scopa. This comes after he was a no-show at a briefing to update Scopa in Parliament on the vetting of officials in state-owned enterprises. The Hawks, the NPA and SIU gave updates on various investigations, including the Water and Sanitation Department and state-owned enterprises. Now, Scopa says it might summon Gungubele and his deputy. Our reporter Heidi Giokos has been monitoring the parliamentary briefing, that meeting there with Scopa. She's joining me now in studio just to give us an update. Good afternoon, Heidi. Welcome and thank you very much for your time. So, Minister, a no-show, the issue of vetting is a big headache, seemingly. What did you hear?
Yes, certainly. And the fact that the minister was a no-show ties exactly into the Hawks raising a very big issue. But before we get into what the Hawks had to say about vetting, the Minister of State Security Agency, which is Mondli Gungubele, together with the Deputy Minister, were no-show before Scopa. And the reason for this is because SSA believes that they do not need to answer to Scopa when it comes to vetting of public officials, government officials in state-owned entities. This apparently was a cabinet resolution that took place years ago, and the fact that the vetting has not taken place, or rather there has been no update on vetting, is causing a huge problem for Scopa. Scopa got in its legal services that said that should the minister not pitch to Parliament for their next sitting, then the minister will be summoned together with the deputy minister, because this is of public interest. There should be no secrecy when it comes to vetting, given the state of our state-owned entities as well as the corruption that's at play. Now, the Hawks indicated today that they need to employ senior officials within the Hawks to proceed with its investigations, proceed with very big matters pertaining to corruption, fraud, and the rest. And this cannot happen because they are waiting for vetting of 17 senior officials that needs to come from crime. The vetting needs to come from crime intelligence as well as the SSA. Of course, Scopa not taking well to the fact that this cannot proceed because the minister is not giving a response on this. But let's listen to the head of Hawks about how important this actually is and the problems that it's causing.
We are being affected. As I've indicated, that we will be appointing one of the senior managers the 1st of next month. We could have done that long time if the vetting was quick. We are currently waiting for more 17 of senior managers that we would like to appoint. But because there is a decision that on senior management we can't appoint unless there is top secret security clearance, this is affecting us.
So just to, if I may interrupt you, I'm sorry, colleagues, it's the issue we were dealing with ESCOM. I'm sorry to interrupt, so that there's context. We are saddled with the problem of the State Security Agency on this vetting. It's a perennial headache across the public service. And then when we wanted them to come here, they threw their toys out the court and said they're not coming here, they don't report it on account here and so on.
The Scopa chairperson there, Mr. Hleng, were not impressed at all, Heidi. I saw there on the visual we're playing now, when the Hawks leader was speaking, the Shamila Batoy from the NPA. I wonder what they've got to say about this.
Yes, again, the NPA not really able to thoroughly investigate a number of issues. They almost have to pick and choose because of this vetting issue, because the skills that are needed are not being acquired and hired because of this massive vetting issue. But I think what's important, giving the updates by the NPA to Scopa today, was the fact that it seems as though there's a serious criminal syndicate that's happening, and it mostly comes from government officials. And what the NPA head, Shamila Batoy, is saying is that government officials need to have the highest level of integrity, because if government officials are persuaded to be involved in these syndicates and to be involved in these serious crimes, what does it say about the lower level workers? And the minister's, the head of NPA is saying that this is a big problem, and she says the country is on on a slippery slope, and she's quite worried about the state of crime in the country and how it just continues, especially from government officials. Let's listen on that.
We have serious problems. I think we have to realize that if we don't start thinking about very, very high-level strategies to deal with those that are the organized criminals, and if you look at the recent publication of the Global Index, South Africa we have serious problems regarding organized crime in our country. And we're not winning the battle. We're looking at, if you look at corruption within our own ranks in the criminal justice system, I think we mustn't forget, and with organized crime, there's so much of money that it can be very tempting, and part of the strategy of organized criminals is to corrupt government people. And so if those in government do not have the highest standards of integrity, because even those with the skills can get corrupted, if we do not have people, the right people with the highest standards of integrity in government that are prepared to do this work, and have really, really good strategies to target those behind the ones that are stealing fuel on the ground, the ones that are stealing the copper cables, all of this infrastructure. We cannot be really utilizing all of the scarce resources across the system to deal with those types of cases.